which is the current how does the interest rate increases impact the real estate market? The realistic real estate, if you're using credit funds, of course your returns, of course, will increase twice. Many Germans purchase they finance at the level of 90%. If you borrow large loans from the bank, if there is a 1 million apartment, for example, and you have taken 900,000 loan from the bank, of course, in that particular case is more sensitive, and it will impact the sales of those that have this but many people don't even they're not influenced by, they're not doing it this way. Germany is a very rich country. The tax rates can be minimized down to zero, and one way to do it would be through depreciation. You can always ask me questions and I'll help you out in terms of minimizing your tax payments. You will be able to apply for the residence permit, showing that you have already purchased an apartment to the immigration office, and that will increase your chances of getting the residence permit. But that's not having to purchase an apartment is not a part of the program. I understand. They're also talking about the inflation, making some forecasts for the inflation. You have already covered all of these issues. Well, Germans are very accurate. There is just a very few English-speaking markets. Germans are investing, for the most part, Germans are investing in real estate, and when inflation hits, of course, money lose if we get additional questions, then of course we will redirect them to you. Thank you very much. Your presentation was very inquisitive. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me see if any questions have to do with were addressed to us. There are lots of questions on immigration. Here it is. Может ли
part of investment in real estate, 30% of value against of mortgage, same property, or investor must have 100%
yes, it's possible
money.
if you are non-resident. Yes. Yes, there is no problem to get a loan from bank for non-resident people.
About immigration, for Nava, there is some question for you. Open it.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Great. Is it true that job related to A1 and IT get approved faster because Canada needs them? This is the question.
Yes. Correct.
So
Canada needs IT people, and it has created specific immigration programs for tech people. including the startup visa that we discussed earlier together. But you don't necessarily need to be an entrepreneur to apply for immigrating to Canada as a tech person. So yes, definitely it goes faster because Canada has specific immigration programs for tech people.
Fine. And it's also mentioned in one of the condition obtaining a WP under C11, if you manage your own business, so can I give salary from managing my business in the end of the year? Does it count by immigration that I have been working? So after 1 year, I can apply for the permanent residence. If he's working outside.
If as an entrepreneur, you give yourself salary, it could help your permanent residency, but this is truly on a case-by-case basis, and it depends on which program you are applying for. So this you just mentioned significant benefit. So yeah, significant benefit if you put yourself on a payroll, it could potentially ease your permanent residency.
I see. There is also some questions. I'm trying to reply to the messages. Just 1 second. There is a chat together, and there is also Canada immigration. There, 1 second. It's here because they all a lot. Okay, let me go back to this one. The gaps in my work experience, some problem. How about university? How about the university degrees that deviate from your line of work? So the university degrees that deviate from your line of work.
Yes, so it means that this person may have a degree, let's say in I don't know, engineering, and he wants to open a business that has nothing to do in engineering. That's fine. That's not a problem. For business immigration, we're not that much looking to necessarily merge your education with the business that you will do in Canada. But what will be important is your work experience. That ideally should be related to the business that you want to do in Canada, way more than your education.
I see. So experience is very important. Artyom, there is a question for you. Can you come in?
Yeah.
Okay. Да, Артем, какие налоги придется оплачивать?
Artyom, what kind of taxes one will have to pay after purchasing real estate? What kind of additional payments they will have to make? As for taxes, I've already told you that during the purchase procedure, 3.5% will have to be paid. Then you also pay the so-called real estate tax. It's marginal. It's about €1 per 1 square meter per quarter. So if you purchase 100 square meters, you pay 100 euros per quarter. We also have the income tax. You rent your apartment out and you get certain revenues, and it is of course taxed at the end of the year. What's the rate? What's the tax rate? Since this is important, I will provide you with a specific example. We also have to talk about depreciation. On paper, so to say, your apartment is getting old, and it's becoming old by 2% per year. From the accounting standpoint, you can write off these 2% of the depreciation. Let's say an apartment costs you 1 million. and you get 12,000 euros per year, and you will have to pay taxes off of the 12,000 euros that you get per year. But if you also take into account 2% depreciation rate, you will have to pay taxes off of 2,000 euros instead of 12,000 euros. Also, you should take into account the interest which you pay to the bank. It is also tax deductible. That is to say that that ultimately that minimizes your income tax almost down to zero. So we by using depreciation, our real estate is not, well, in terms of your documents on paper, so to say, you don't pay taxes, and it becomes even more profitable. While it is more profitable on paper, you don't have to pay taxes if you use depreciation. If you know how to correctly use depreciation, and there's only income tax, and there is the apartment tax, but it's very marginal. It's never taken into account or considered.
Так, еще какие у нас вопросы тут есть? Я вот смотрю.
All right. What are the questions that we have here? There's a question, but for some reason it's not. Well, by and large, we're talking about the same interest, which is not very high, the mortgage interest rate, but you can minimize them. Whereas you have about 13% per annum of your profits.
Да, ну, естественно, сумму-то мы платим так или иначе. Ага.
Вы гасите, но проценты, которые вы платите банку, вы можете списывать.
You can, well, if as I said before, the interest that you have to pay to the bank is also tax deductible. You can also write off the realtor services and notary public services over the span of 10 years, for example, and that is significantly minimizing your taxes. Rima, now the question is addressed to you and myself. Can you find clients in the UAE in the area of managerial accounting? I don't quite understand what they mean by that. Is it somebody that is submitting taxes to the tax department? If you have any connection, can you clarify what they mean by the managerial accounting? This is not clear as a notion. The clients, of course, can be found anywhere. Well, actually, we have answered all the questions as far as I can understand. If you have any other questions to ask, you can get in touch with the conference organizers, and you can address your questions to all the partners and speakers as well. Well, then, thank you very much for your participation. It was very
Тот, кто участвовал в конференции,
and interesting to interact with you. I think the participants will be able to get in touch with us afterwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I told everybody who need to contact directly so they can contact through the Bosco. Thanks a lot.